people with rights. Those rights are not a favor to be rewarded or withheld. They are an endowment for simply being human. Across the first half of my mandate, not in gilded meeting rooms, but where they live and work and dream. And I have listened. I have heard families in the South Pacific who fear their lives being swept away by rising seas. Young refugees in the Middle East yearning for a return to school and home. Ebola survivors in North Kivu struggling to rebuild their lives. Women demanding equality and opportunity. People of all beliefs and traditions who suffer simply because of who they are, and so many others. We are living in a world of disquiet. A great many people fear getting trampled, thwarted, left behind. Machines take their jobs, traffickers take their dignity, demagogues take their rights, warlords take their lives, fossil fuels take their future, and yet people believe in the spirit and ideas that bring us to this all. They believe in the United Nations. But do they believe in us? Do they believe as leaders we will put people first? Because we, the leaders, must deliver for we, the peoples. Excellencies, people have a right to live in peace. 1 year ago in this room, I spoke of winds of hope despite the chaos and confusion of our world. And since then, some of those currents continue to move in promising directions. Against the expectations of many, elections unfolded peacefully in Madagascar, the Maldives, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, to name just a few. Greece and the Republic of North Macedonia resolved their decades-long name dispute. Political dialogue in Sudan and the peace process in the Central African Republic have brought renewed hope. And the long-sought step forward has just been taken on the political path out of the tragedy in Syria and in line with Security Council Resolution 2254. As I announced yesterday, an agreement has been reached with all parties for a credible, balanced, and inclusive Syrian-owned and Syrian-led constitutional committee. My special envoy just left Damascus after finalizing the last details with the government and the opposition. And the United Nations look forward to convening the committee in Geneva in the coming weeks. But Excellencies, across the global landscape, we see conflicts persisting, terrorism spreading, and the risk of a new arms race growing. Outside interferences, often in violation of Security Council resolutions, make peace processes more difficult. And so many situations remain unresolved, from Yemen to Libya to Afghanistan and beyond. A succession of unilateral actions threatens to torpedo a two-state solution between Israel and Palestine. And in Venezuela, 4 million people have fled the country, one of the largest displacements in the world. Tensions are elevated in South Asia, where differences need to be addressed through dialogue. And above all, we are facing the alarming possibility of armed conflict in the Gulf, the consequences of which the world cannot afford. The recent attack on Saudi Arabia oil facilities was totally unacceptable. In a context where a minor miscalculation can lead to a major confrontation, we must do everything possible to push for reason and restraint. And I hope for a future in which all the countries of the region can live in a state of mutual respect and cooperation without interference in each other's affairs. And I hope equally that it will still be possible to preserve the progress on nuclear non-proliferation represented by the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Excellencies, from day one, I have emphasized prevention, mediation, and a surge in diplomacy for peace to address the crises we face. Consider the lives we can save by intensifying our investments to sustain peace around the world. Across some of the most troubled corners of the world, some 100,000 UN peacekeepers protect civilians and promote peace. And through the Action for Peacekeeping initiative, we are strengthening our effectiveness and efficiency, and we are renewing partnerships with troop and police contributing countries, host countries, and regional organizations such as the African Union and the European Union. And I'm also proud of the work of our humanitarians easing suffering around the world. Fully half of all international relief aid is channeled through the United Nations, ensuring that millions receive protection, food, medicine, shelter, water, and other life-saving forms of assistance. This year alone, in brutal attacks and other circumstances, we have lost at least 80 peacekeepers, humanitarians, and others, all of whom gave their lives serving the United Nations and trying to better the lives of others. I honor their service and their sacrifice. Excellencies, we have bolstered our counterterrorism architecture and defined new strategies to tackle violent extremism and address root causes while respecting human rights. And I have put forward a new disarmament agenda to advance global peace. In the near term, the New START agreement must be extended. We must work to address the heightened threat posed by ballistic missiles and ensure a successful 2020 review of the Treaty of Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. The situation of the Korean Peninsula remains uncertain, and I fully support the efforts towards a new summit between the President of the United States and the leader of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And at this time of transition and dysfunction in global power relations, there is a new risk looming on the horizon that may not yet be large, but it is real. I fear the possibility of a great fracture, the world splitting in two, with the two largest economies on Earth creating two separate and competing worlds, which with their own dominant currency, trade and financial rules, their own internet and artificial intelligence capacities, and their own zero-sum geopolitical and military strategies. We must do everything possible to avert the great fracture and maintain a universal system, a universal economy with universal respect for international law, a multipolar world with strong multilateral institutions. Excellencies, people have a right to security in all its dimensions. Every measure to uphold human rights helps deliver sustainable development and peace. In the 21st century, we must see human rights with a vision that speaks to each and every human being and encompasses all rights: economic, social, cultural, political, and civil. It would be a mistake to ignore or diminish economic, social, and cultural rights. But it would be equally misguided to think that those rights are enough to answer people's yearnings for freedom. Human rights are universal and indivisible. One cannot pick and choose, favoring some while disdaining others. People have a right to well-being and dignified standards of life, with health, housing, and food, social protection, and a sustainable environment. Education, not only to learn things, but to learn how to learn and prepare to the future. And decent jobs, especially for young people. These rights permeate the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and they are among our best tools for preventing conflict. Yet, we are not on track. Inequality is exploding. Our global economy generates great flows of income, but this prosperity is captured by a small number of elites. It is a sad fact of our world today that one's chances of leading a life free of want and in full human dignity still depend more on the circumstances of one's birth than one's innate capacities. Today's Sustainable Development Goals Summit and the Thursday's dialogue on financing are opportunities to ramp up ambition, including by utilizing the promise of technology and innovation as recommended by the high-level panel on digital cooperation that has concluded its report. Excellencies, as was emphasized in yesterday's Climate Action Summit, the climate emergency is a race we are losing, but it is a race we can win if we change our ways now. Even our language has to adapt. What once was called climate change is now truly a climate crisis. And what was once called global warming has more accurately become global heating. We are seeing unprecedented temperatures, unrelenting storms, and undeniable science. 10 days ago, in the Bahamas, I saw the ruin caused by Hurricane Dorian. That aftermath is a mere prelude to what science tells us is on its way. But something else is on its way, solutions. And the world is starting to move, not yet fast enough, but move in the right direction, away from fossil fuels and towards the opportunities of a green economy. And the Climate Summit highlighted some of the solutions we need to scale up in order to dramatically reduce emissions, keep temperatures rise to 1.5 degrees, and reach carbon neutrality by 2050. But we are not yet there. We must build on this momentum and do much more to be able to defeat climate change. Excellences, les peuples doivent jouir de libertés fondamentales que chaque pays a promis de faire respecter. Pourtant, nous sommes aujourd'hui à un moment critique où des droits longuement acquis sont menacés, mis à mal, détournés. Nous observons une grande impunité, y compris pour les violations du droit international humanitaire. Nous voyons éclore de nouvelles formes d'autoritarisme. Et dans trop d'endroits, la disparition de l'espace civique muselle les voix des citoyens. Des défenseurs des droits humains, des militants écologistes et des journalistes sont pris pour cible. Jour après jour, clic après clic, d'une caméra à l'autre, les systèmes de surveillance étendent leur emprise et empiètent sur la vie privée. Et ces fissures ne sont pas uniquement le signe d'un effondrement des règles régissant le comportement des États et de l'économie. Elles sont plus profondes. Elles questionnent notre compassion et notre humanité. Alors, où l'on compte un nombre sans précédent de réfugiés déplacés, où est passée notre solidarité? Nous voyons des frontières et surtout des se fermer, des sociétés devenir hostiles aux étrangers. Nous regardons des familles de réfugiés être déchirées et le droit d'asile bafoué. Il nous faut rétablir l'intégrité du régime international de protection des réfugiés et tenir les promesses de partage des responsabilités du pacte mondial sur les réfugiés. Et nous devons également poursuivre sur la lancée du premier pacte mondial sur les migrations dont l'adoption en décembre dernier marque un tournant. Il faut renforcer la coopération internationale pour une migration régulée et ordonnée et retirer la gestion des mouvements migratoires des mains des passeurs et criminels qui s'enrichissent sur le dos des personnes vulnérables. Les droits humains de chaque migrant
All migrants
doivent être
must see their
respectés.
human rights respected.
Excellence, dans le monde
Excellencies,
d'aujourd'hui,
around the
la
world
peur
today,
connaît un
fear,
triste succès.
sadly, is gaining ground.
L'isolation et la méfiance de l'autre sont
Isolation and
utilisées à des fins
mistrust
politiques.
are being used for political purposes.
C'est la raison pour laquelle
And
j'ai
that is
lancé deux
why I
initiatives.
launched two initiatives.
La première, une
The
stratégie à
first
l'échelle
one
du
is
système des
a
Nations
UN
Unies pour
system-wide
lutter
strategy
contre les
to
discours
tackle
de haine.
hate speech.
La deuxième,
And
un
the
plan d'action
second
pour
one is
soutenir
an
la
action
protection
plan
des sites
to
religieux
support efforts to
et la
safeguard
défense de
religious
la
sites
liberté de
and to
culte.
uphold the right to religious
Toute
freedom.
minorité,
Any
ethnique,
minority,
religieuse ou
religious,
autre,
ethnic, or
doit
other
pouvoir jouir
must
pleinement
fully
de ses droits
enjoy their
fondamentaux.
basic rights.
La cohésion sociale est rarement
Social
facile.
cohesion is
Des efforts
rarely easy
essentiels
to obtain.
sont nécessaires pour que chaque communauté
Strong
se sente
investments
respectée dans
need
son
to ensure
identité
that diverse
et
communities
puisse
feel that
pleinement
their
participer
identities
à la
are
société
respected
dans son
and that they have
ensemble.
a stake in the
À
society
ceux
as a
qui font
whole.
le choix de
To those
l'oppression
who
ou de la
insist
division,
on
je
oppression
dis
or
la
division, I
diversité n'est
say
pas une menace,
diversity
c'est une
is not a
richesse.
threat, it's a
Il est
richness.
inacceptable qu'au
It
XXIe
is
siècle,
unacceptable
des
in the
femmes et
21st
des hommes
century
soient
for women
persécutés
and
à
women
cause de leurs croyances,
and men to be
identité
persecuted because of their
ou
identity,
sexualité.
belief, or sexual
Nous devons bien
orientation.
sûr également
We,
garantir
of
des
course,
droits
must
des
also
personnes
secure the
vulnérables
rights of
et marginalisées.
vulnerable and marginalized
J'ai
people.
lancé cette année la
This
première
year,
stratégie
I
des Nations
launched
Unies
the
pour
first
l'inclusion des
United
personnes
Nations Disability
handicapées.
Inclusion Strategy.
Enfin, n'oublions pas la
And,
forme de
of
discrimination la
course,
plus
we mustn't
répandue dans
forget
le monde.
the world's most
Une
pervasive
discrimination qui
manifestation of
frappe la moitié de
discrimination, which
l'humanité,
affects
les
fully half
femmes
of
et les
humankind,
filles.
discrimination against women and
L'égalité des
girls.
sexes est fondamentalement une question de
Gender
pouvoir.
equality is a
Et le
question of
pouvoir
power.
reste
And
essentiellement
power still
aux mains des hommes.
essentially lies with
Nous les
men.
voyons dans
And
les
we can
parlements, les
see
conseils
that anywhere
d'administration,
from parliaments to
et même, il
boardrooms,
faut le dire,
and
cette semaine,
even,
dans les
we must say
couloirs et
this
les salles
week,
de
in the
réunion des
halls
Nations
and
Unies.
corridors and the meeting rooms of the
Nous
United
devons
Nations.
rompre avec
We must
l'immobilisme du
break
passé
with the rigidity of the
et
past
penser les
and
droits et la
truly see
représentation des
women's
femmes
rights and
comme un but
representations
commun à
as
l'humanité
our
tout
common
entière.
goal for the humanity
J'ai
as a
mis en
whole.
place aux Nations Unies.
And I
Chaque
am
jour, nous
working
ouvrons
on
pour la
this with the
parité
United Nations.
femmes-hommes
Every
ainsi
day
que
we're working to
l'équilibre
ensure gender
régional.
parity and as well as regional
Aujourd'hui,
balance.
nous avons
We
parité
have
dans mon conseil de
achieved parity
direction
in my senior
et parmi
management
les
group
coordonnateurs
and amongst the
résidents,
resident
c'est-à-dire
coordinators,
celles
that
et
is,
ceux qui pilotent
amongst
le travail
those
des
people
Nations Unies
who
dans
lead
chaque
United
pays.
Nations work at the country level.
Excelências, no pararé en mi empeño hasta que hayamos alcanzado la paridad de género a todos los niveles de las Naciones Unidas y la plena igualdad para las mujeres y las niñas en todo el mundo. Eso implica seguir oponiendo resistencia a los que resisten a los derechos de las mujeres. Implica también denunciar un inquietante aspecto común a los atentados terroristas, las ideologías extremistas y los crímenes brutales, la violenta misoginia de los perpetradores. Implica además intensificar nuestros esfuerzos para ampliar las oportunidades. Según las tendencias actuales, se necesitarán 2 siglos para cerrar la brecha en materia de empoderamiento económico. No podemos aceptar un mundo que dice a mis nietas que la igualdad debe esperar a las nietas de sus nietos. Excellencies, as we continue all this vital work and more, I've launched ambitious reforms to make the United Nations more effective. I count on you to place our organization on sound financial footing. In an ever more divided world, we need a strong United Nations. Next year, we will mark the 75th anniversary of the UN, a critical moment to renew our common project. The problems we face are real, but so is hope. As we strive to serve people, we also can be inspired by people. Over the past 2.5 years, I've spent time with young African girls learning to code, with teachers equipping young people with new skills for the future, with entrepreneurs in many fields leading the world innovation by innovation into the green economy. They and so many others are helping to build the future we want. Their aspirations and their human rights must always be our touchstone. We are here to serve. We are here to advance the common good while upholding our shared humanity and values. That vision united the founders of our organization. At a time of division today, we must reconnect with that spirit. Let us restore trust, rebuild hope, and move ahead together. Thank you.
I thank the Secretary General of the United Nations for his presentation. The General Assembly will now turn to Agenda Item 8, entitled General Debate. Heads of State and Government, Secretary General, Ministers, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to the general debate of the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Your presence is a veritable testament to the primacy of this great multilateral body. The issues herein raised are most critical and increasingly urgent for the attainment of international peace and security, as well as the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. We have remained for too long at the crossroads of human development. And if we will propel humanity to attain its utmost capacity, then we need to join efforts in finding solutions to the untold hardship from violent conflicts, terrorism, natural disasters, drug and sex trafficking, illiteracy, and so on, which millions of people around the world suffer from. In 1945, rising from the ashes of the Second World War, this organization was created to ensure that never again will we traverse that destructive path. Despite occasional failings on our part, much good has happened to humanity because of the work of this great organization. Excellencies,
我们现在听到的呢是这一届的轮值主席来自奈及利亚的班迪，他的讲话。那现在呢，我们看到刚刚已经结束的呢，是由巴西的总统波索纳罗的这个第74届联合国大会的元首开幕讲话。那接下来呢，会是美国总统川普是第2个顺位来说话。那我们先来听一下班迪他这次的讲话。
Achieving our targets under the SDGs requires cooperation in both financing and the sharing of experience. Without doubt, the challenges posed by health pandemics, terrorism, displacement, climate change, as well as illiteracy and poverty will not be resolved by individual countries, as they all require focused cooperation to stem. As President of the 74th session, I'll work with all delegations and with the other organs of the United Nations to advance the implementation of the priorities which I have set out for the 74th session of the Assembly. The promotion of international peace and security is at the heart of the work of the United Nations. We must continue to strengthen the organization by ensuring that its peace and security architecture is appropriate for the 21st century, particularly making a priority of prevention. Drivers of conflict, such as poverty, inequality, human rights abuses, lack of access to education and employment opportunities must be tackled head-on. Through proper sharing of ideas and functional partnerships, we can address them successfully. Excellencies, poverty eradication remains a great challenge globally. While many countries around the world have succeeded in taking millions out of poverty, we have to do more to take hundreds of millions more out of abject poverty, misery, and squalid existence. Accordingly, I urge you to reflect specifically on how your countries can, among other things, ensure improved social protection systems and channel a significant proportion of government spending to hitherto marginalized or excluded groups who are most affected by poverty. In addition, countries need to cooperate on the development of entrepreneurial capacity and in the modernization of agriculture. The fact that poverty and food shortages around the world have been exacerbated by climate change means that special focus must be placed on tackling climate change, as the repercussions of not acting pose grave dangers for our world now and in the future. These dangers are evident in the financial and human impact that climate change-related disasters like floods, cyclones, hurricanes, droughts, and wildfires cause around the world. we need to deploy the knowledge and technologies available to us to ensure that we do not condemn our children to an irreparable world. I call for cooperation among nations to ensure that coalitions for climate resilience and mitigation actions are formed and strengthened. Accordingly, we should deliver on our commitments made in Paris in 2015 and devise creative ways of bridging the huge financial and technical gaps required for meaningful impact. Ensuring access to free and quality primary and secondary education, as well as affordable and inclusive vocational and technical education, is vital. This is imperative given the reality that no nation can develop beyond its educational capacity, particularly the capacity of its teachers. In this regard, there is an immediate need, among others, to ensure that students around the world are taught by qualified teachers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as well as in the humanities. I urge countries endowed and better placed to deepen cooperation with those currently in greater need for capacity development of their teachers. In addition, there is need to reflect on the gains that have been made and opportunities that are available to the girl child and disabled children. Ensuring inclusion, particularly as it relates to the rights and empowerment of youth, women, and the disabled, is the right thing to do. It is also a guarantor of the expansion of the economy and the accentuation of inclusion in all countries. While many countries have made considerable advancement in this aspect, all countries have ample room for improvement in this direction. Clearly, Excellencies, effectively implementing the aforementioned will require that we never relapse into the bitter rivalries of the past, while prioritizing cooperation, mutual interest, and respect. We must pool our resources and energies and try harder to urgently address major global challenges confronting humanity. Accordingly, it is important that we continue to strengthen South-South as well as triangular cooperation to reinforce the work of the United Nations. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, evidence abounds that we can do great things if we are courageous, steadfast, and show empathy. From Mahatma Gandhi, who led a successful campaign for India's independence, to the young Greta Thunberg, who leads the demand for action on the climate, from Nelson Mandela, who stood resolutely and fought the dismantling of apartheid, to Malala Yousafzai, who, against all odds, insisted on her rights to education, from Martin Luther King Jr., a Baptist minister and leader of the civil rights movement, to Abubakar Abdullahi, a Nigerian imam who saved the lives of over 250 Christians when they fled his community during an attack on a community in Nigeria, to the various acts of courage and generosity of ordinary people in all countries, we are reminded that hope is not lost. In conclusion, we should not forget the fact that we stand in this magnificent hall today in the presence of leaders from around the globe to debate how best to achieve the world of our collective dream is a remarkable feat in itself. I am certain that during the remainder of this event-packed week, we will see us all shuttling between the various halls and meeting rooms of our great organization. We will be giving focused attention to the suffering of billions of people around the world and crafting stronger cooperation that is essential to creating a world where, in concert and in line with the founding principles of this organization, will give succor and hope to all people and nations for a more peaceful and prosperous world. There is great work to be done. We have no room for either cynicism or apathy. We should strive together to deliver for all. I thank you. Before giving the floor to the first speaker for this morning, I would like to remind members that the list of speakers for the general debate has been established on the agreed basis that statements should be no longer than 15 minutes to enable all the speakers to be heard at a given meeting. Within this time frame, I would like to appeal to speakers to deliver their statements at a reasonable pace so that interpretation in the other official United Nations languages may be provided properly. I would like to also draw your attention to the decision taken by the General Assembly at its previous sessions, namely that the practice of expressing congratulations inside the General Assembly hall after a speech has been delivered is strongly discouraged. In this connection, after delivering their statements, speakers are invited to exit the General Assembly hall through GA 200, located behind the podium, before returning to their seats. May I take it that the General Assembly agrees to proceed in the same manner during the general debate of the 74th session? It is so decided. Finally, I should like to draw the attention of members that during the general debate, official photographs of all speakers are taken by the Department of Global Communications. Members interested in obtaining these photographs are requested to contact the Photo Library of the United Nations. The Assembly will hear an address by His Excellency, Jair Messias Bolsonaro, President of the Federative Republic of Brazil. On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the pleasure to welcome to the United Nations His Excellency Jair Messias Bolsonaro, President of the Federative Republic of Brazil, and to invite him to address the Assembly.
Primeiro, obrigado a Deus pela minha vida,
First of all, I thank God
pela
for being
missão
alive
de presidir o
and
Brasil
for the mandate and
e
mission
pela oportunidade
of presiding over
de
Brazil, and
restabelecer
also
a
for the
verdade,
opportunity to
o que é
re-establish
bom para todos
truth,
nós.
which is, of course, a good
Senhor Presidente da
laws.
Assembleia Geral,
Mr. President of
Tijani
the
Mohamed Bandi,
Assembly, Mr. Tijani Mohamed
Senhor
Bande,
Secretário-Geral
Mr.
da
Secretary
ONU,
General of the
Antônio
United Nations
Guterres,
Organization, Antonio Guterres,
chefes de Estado, de governo
of
e de
state,
delegação,
of government, and heads of
senhoras e
delegations,
senhores,
ladies and gentlemen,
apresento aos senhores
I come
novo
here
Brasil
before you
que
today
ressurge
to introduce you to a
depois de
new
estar
Brazil, a
à
country
beira
that
do
is now
socialismo.
re-emerging after coming
Brasil que
from the
está
brink
sendo
of
reconstruído
socialism.
a partir dos
A
anseios
country
e
that
dos
is being
ideais
rebuilt
de
on
seu
the
povo.
yearnings and ideals of
No meu
its people.
governo,
Under
o
my
Brasil vem
administration,
trabalhando
Brazil
para
has been
reconquistar
working
a confiança do mundo,
regain
diminuindo o desemprego,
world trust,
a
also
violência
to
e o risco
lower
para os negócios,
unemployment,
por meio
violence,
da
and business risks
desburocratização,
by
da desregulamentação
reducing
e, em
bureaucracy
especial,
through
pelo
deregulation
exemplo.
and especially by
Meu país
leading.
esteve muito
through
próximo do
example.
socialismo,
My country was
o que
very
nos
close to
colocou numa
socialism,
situação
which
de
led us
corrupção
to a
generalizada,
situation of
grave
widespread
recessão
corruption,
econômica,
serious economic
altas
recession,
taxas de criminalidade
high
e de
crime
ataques
rates,
ininterruptos
and
aos valores familiares
continuous,
religiosos
ceaseless
que
acts
formam
against
nossas
family
tradições.
and religious values that are part
Em
and parcel
2013,
of
o
our
acordo
traditions.
entre o governo
In
petista
2013,
e a
an
ditadura
agreement
cubana
between the
trouxe ao
former
Brasil
Workers' Party and
10
the
mil
Cuban
médicos sem
dictatorship
nenhuma
brought to
comprovação
Brazil 10,000
profissional.
doctors who had no
Foram impedidos
evidence
de
of
trazer
professional training. They
e
were
filhos.
prevented from bringing their
Tiveram
spouses or children,
75% de seus salários
and
confiscados
75% of
pelo
their
regime
wages were
e foram
confiscated by the Cuban
impedidos
regime,
de
and they were
usufruir de
further
direitos
prevented
fundamentais
from
como o de ir
enjoying
e vir.
fundamental rights, such as, for example, the right to go
verdadeiro
and come.
trabalho escravo,
Truly
acredito.
tantamount to slave labor, believe me,
respaldado por entidades de direitos humanos
supported
do
by
Brasil
human rights
e
organizations,
da ONU.
both in Brazil and the United
Antes
Nations
mesmo de assumir
organization.
o governo,
Even before I
quase
took office,
90% deles
almost
deixaram o Brasil
90% of these Cuban
por ação
citizens
unilateral
left
do
Brazil as a
regime
result
cubano.
of a one-sided
que
initiative by the
decidiram
Cuban
ficar
government. Those who
que
decided to stay
submeterão
in
a
Brazil
qualificação
will
médica
undergo
para exercer sua
proper
profissão.
technical eligibility criteria
Deste
to allow
modo,
them to
nosso
exercise the
país
medical
deixou de
profession.
contribuir
Brazil has
com a ditadura
therefore
cubana, não mais
stopped
enviando
contributing to
para
the Cuban
Havana
dictatorship by no
300
longer
milhões de
sending to
dólares
Havana
todos os anos.
$300 million, as has been the
A
case every
história
year.
nos mostra
History
que já nos
has
anos
taught us
60,
that already back in
agentes
the
cubanos foram
1960s,
enviados
Cuban
a diversos
agents
países
were sent
para
out to
colaborar
several
com a
countries
implementação
to
de ditaduras.
collaborate towards implementing
Há
dictatorships
poucas
in the
décadas,
region.
tentaram mudar o
A
regime
few decades
brasileiro
ago, they
e de
tried to
outros
change the
países
Brazilian
da
regime
América
and
Latina.
the system in place in
Foram
other countries
derrotados.
in Latin America.
Civis
They
e
were
militares
defeated.
brasileiros foram
Brazilian
mortos
civilians and
e outros
military
tantos tiveram
died,
suas
were
reputações
killed, and
destruídas,
so many had
mas
their
vencemos
reputation
aquela
fully
guerra
destroyed.
e
We have
resguardamos
nevertheless overcome
nossa
that war, and we
liberdade.
have upheld our
Na
freedom.
Venezuela, ex-agentes do regime cubano,
In Venezuela,
levados
these
por Hugo Chávez,
agents of the Cuban
também
regime,
chegaram e
introduced by
hoje são
Hugo Chavez, also
aproximadamente
made their
60
way
mil
into Venezuela. And today,
que controlam
there
e
are
interferem
60,000
em
Cuban
todas
agents
as
who
áreas
control
da
and
sociedade
interfere in
local,
all areas of
principalmente
the
na
Venezuelan society,
inteligência
especially
e na
in
defesa.
intelligence and
A
defense.
Venezuela,
Venezuela,
outrora país
formerly
pujante
a
e
vibrant democratic
hoje
country,
experimenta a
currently
crueldade
experiences
do
the
socialismo.
cruelty of socialism.
O socialismo
It is
está
fair
dando
to say
certo
that,
na
yes,
Venezuela.
socialism is working in
Todos
Venezuela.
estão pobres e sem
They're all
liberdade.
poor and deprived
O
of
Brasil
freedom.
também sente os impactos da
Brazil has
ditadura
also felt
venezuelana.
the impacts resulting
Dos
from the
mais de 4
Venezuelan
milhões que
dictatorship.
联合
fugiram do
国
país,
大会的元首开幕讲话。刚才呢，在这个会议一开始我们听到的就是轮值主席奈及利亚的班迪的说话，以及在他之前呢，就是 UN 的秘书长古特雷斯的讲话。他们今天呢，针对这个气候暖化、可持续发展、极端贫穷、饥荒问题、健康与福祉、性别平等和工作与发展，一开始呢都是已经下了这一次的联合国大会的这个基调。那现在呢，一连续的就是有16个国家元首要来进行开幕讲话。我们现在在画面上看到的呢是巴西的总统波索纳罗他的说话。那接下来在他之后呢，会是美国总统川普。每一个元首呢，他们的限制时间大约都是15分钟，所以我们现在就来听一下巴西的总统他的讲话。
Senhoras e senhores,
Ladies and gentlemen,
em busca de prosperidade,
in the quest
estamos
for
adotando
prosperity, we have been
políticas que
putting
nos
in
aproximem
place
de países
policies
outros
that
que se
will bring us
desenvolveram e
closer to other
consolidaram
countries
suas
that have
democracias.
achieved, developed, and consolidated
Não pode
their
haver
democracies.
liberdade política
There can
sem
be
que haja
no
também
political freedom
liberdade
without
econômica.
economic
E
freedom,
vice-versa.
and vice versa.
O livre mercado,
A free
as
market,
concessões e as
concessions
privatizações
projects,
já se
and
fazem
privatization
presentes hoje
opportunities
no
are.
Brasil. A economia está reagindo.
The Brazilian economy is now responding as the distortions and chains of nearly 2 decades have been overcome. More than 2 decades of fiscal irresponsibility, manipulation, ideological manipulation of the state apparatus, and widespread corruption. Economic openness, capable government management, and productivity gains are immediate goals of our administration. We are opening the economy. We are integrating ourselves into the global value chains. In no more than 8 months, we have successfully completed the 2 most important and largest trade agreements in the history of my country. I'm talking about the recently signed agreements between the Mercosur bloc of countries in the European Union and also between Mercosur and the European Free Trade Area, the EFTA. We intend to go ahead and enter into more such agreements in the next few months. We also stand ready to start out our process of accession to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD. We're well underway in that effort and have adopted the world's highest standards and best practices in all
Desde a
areas,
regulação financeira,
ranging from financial regulation all the way up to environmental protection. Madam Indigenous representative and leader Izani Kalapalo, an indigenous spokesperson, is here, and we will now speak about Amazon in particular. First of all, may I say that my administration has solemnly committed itself to environmental preservation and to sustainable development to the benefit of Brazil and of the world at large. Brazil is one of the world's richest countries in biodiversity and mineral resources. Our Amazonian region is larger than all of Western Europe and remains virtually pristine and untouched, which is evidence of the fact that we are one of the countries that most protect the environment. During this season of the year, the dry weather and winds are conducive and favor spontaneous forest fires and also criminal burnings. It should be highlighted that there are forest fires or burnings that are part of the ordinary practices of indigenous peoples and the local populations as their own culture and means of livelihood. We all know that all countries have problems, yet the sensationalist attacks that we have suffered coming from a large part of the international media due to the fire outbreaks in the Amazonian region have aroused our patriotic sentiment. It is a fallacy to say that the Amazon is the heritage of humankind, and a misconception as confirmed by scientists to say that our Amazonian forests are the lungs of the world. Using and resorting to these fallacies, certain countries, instead of helping, embarked on the media lies and behaved in a disrespectful manner with a colonialist spirit. They even called into question that which we hold as the most sacred value, or sovereignty. One of these countries during a recent G7 meeting dared suggest applying sanctions to Brazil without even consulting with or hearing Brazil. I thank those countries that did not accept to go ahead with this absurd proposal. In particular, I thank President Donald Trump, who very aptly summarized the spirit that should prevail among United Nations member countries, i.e., respect for the freedom and the sovereignty of each of us as nations. Currently, 14% of the Brazilian territory are demarcated officially as indigenous lands, but one must understand that our natives are human beings, just as any one of us here. They want and they deserve to enjoy the same rights as all of us. I want to make it plain and clear, Brazil will not increase to 20% her area already demarcated officially as indigenous lands, as some heads of state would like to see. In Brazil, there are 225 different indigenous peoples, in addition to about 70 tribes living in isolated locations nationwide. Each indigenous people or tribe has their own chief, their own culture, their own traditions and customs, and above all, they have their own way of seeing the world. The view of one indigenous leader does not represent the views of all Brazilian indigenous peoples. Oftentimes, some of these leaders, such as tribal chief Raoni, have been used as maneuvering tools manipulated by government or foreign governments in their information war to advance their interests in the Amazon. Unfortunately, some people, both in and outside of Brazil, supported by NGOs, have stubbornly insisted on treating and keeping our Indians as if they were real cavemen. Brazil now has a president that is concerned with those who were there in our territory before the Portuguese arrived back in the 1500s. The indigenous people do not want to be poor, large landholders sitting on rich lands, not. Especially sitting on the world's richest lands. That is precisely the case of the Yanomami Reserve and the Raposa Serra do Sol Reserve. These reserves are home to vast deposits, gold, diamond, uranium, niobium, and rare earths, among other resources. And these territories are huge. The Yanomami Reserve alone numbers approximately 95,000 square kilometers, an area equivalent to the size of Portugal or of Hungary, although only 15,000 indigenous people live in such a vast area. This goes to show clearly that those who attack us are not at all concerned about indigenous as human beings. Rather, they're concerned more about the mineral riches and the biodiversity that exists in these areas. As evidence to you of the fact that there is no single authority among the indigenous peoples, I wish to read out to you a letter drafted and representing a substantial part of the indigenous communities in Brazil, addressed to you, the United Nations Assembly. Open letter to the indigenous peoples of Brazil. The group of indigenous farmers of Brazil, made up by several different ethnic groups and found in all states of the Brazilian Federation and inhabiting an area of more than 30 million hectares of the Brazilian territory hereby respectfully addresses the Brazilian society to express its total and unconditional support to indigenous spokesperson and representative Izani Calapo, who is here with us from the Xingu Indigenous Park, Mato Grosso State, so that she may attend the UN Assembly, the UN General Assembly in New York in the US, and there voice and explain the reality experienced by the indigenous peoples in Brazil, and also bring forth the current situation of lies disseminated and propagated by the international and national media. They have insisted on turning Brazil's indigenous peoples into an endless market reserve, serving the interests of foreign countries that still view Brazil as a colony without rules or without sovereignty. 14% of Brazil's national territory are duly and regularly established as official indigenous lands. Many such communities are thirsty and eager and hope that the development of this portion of the country will finally take place without ideological chains, which will in turn enable achievement of a higher quality of life and standard of living in fields such as entrepreneurship, healthcare, and education. A new policy is needed for indigenous peoples in Brazil, and time is of the essence here. Bold measures can and should be encouraged in the pursuit of autonomy, economic empowerment of the indigenous peoples. Quite certainly, if a series of decisions are taken to that effect, we will be able to envisage a new approach to the Brazilian indigenous agenda. A new period of time, a new chapter of hope is needed currently for the indigenous communities. The situation of extreme poverty in which they find themselves, surviving on nothing but a family stipend and basic baskets of foodstuffs, has never delivered dignity or development. Radical extreme environmentalism and outdated approaches to the cause of indigenous people that are out of sync with what indigenous peoples truly want are tantamount to backwardness, marginalization, and absolute lack of citizenship. The reality described here requires that the world leaders attending the UN General Assembly learn and become familiar with our wishes and aspirations through the voice of indigenous spokesperson Izani Calapo, who will convey to you all the real situation regarding the Brazilian indigenous communities and the environment. Spokesperson Izani Calapo therefore enjoys the trust and prestige of the indigenous leaders that are interested in further development, empowerment, and a higher profile role and voice, is thus fully in a position to represent the 52 ethnic groups listed the attachment hereto. The monopoly of Tribal Chief Raoni is over. The United Nations Organization performed a key role in overcoming colonialism in the past and cannot possibly accept that this type of mindset be allowed to come back to its rooms and halls, no matter under what pretext. We cannot forget that the world needs to be fed. France and Germany, for example, use up more than 50% of their territories for agriculture. By contrast, Brazil uses no more than 8% of its lands for food production. 61% of our territory are reserved. Ours is a zero-tolerance policy towards crime, including environmental crimes. I wish to again affirm my stance in this regard. Any initiative to help or support preservation of the Amazonian forest or other biomes must be treated in full respect for Brazilian sovereignty. We also reject the attempts to exploit and use the environmental agenda or the indigenous policy agenda as tools to further political, economic interests of foreign countries, especially those that are disguised as good intention. We stand ready to work together in partnerships and by adding value to our resources so as to sustainably develop all of our potentialities. Brazil hereby reaffirms her uncompromising, unmistakable commitment to the highest standards of human rights, to advocating democracy and freedom, to include freedom of expression, religious freedom, and freedom of the press. a commitment that goes hand in hand with our efforts to fight corruption and crime, which our society urgently calls for. We will continue to contribute both within and outside of the United Nations framework to build a world where there is no impunity, there is no hideout or shelter to criminals and corrupt people. Under my administration, Italian terrorist Cesare Battisti fled Brazil, was later arrested in Bolivia, and then extradited Italy. 3 other terrorists from Paraguay and 1 from Chile who used to live in Brazil up until recently as political refugees have also been returned to their countries of origin. Terrorists operating under the guise of politically persecuted individuals will no longer find refuge in Brazil. Not too long ago, socialist presidents who preceded me in Brazil embezzled, misused hundreds of billions of dollars to buy a part of the media and of the Brazilian parliament, all in the name of an absolute power agenda. They have been tried and punished thanks to the sense of patriotism, perseverance, and courage of a judge who has become a symbol of my country. I'm talking about Dr. Sergio Moro, our incumbent Minister of Justice and Public Safety. Those presidents who came before me also transferred a sizable amount of these funds to third-party countries with the purpose of fostering and putting in place similar power projects throughout the region. Now, that source of funds has now dried out. Those same top-ranking government officials used or would come here to the UN year after year and make disengaged speeches about topics that never, ever served Brazil's real interests, nor did they ever contribute to foster greater world stability. Still, they were all applauded. In my country, we had no choice but do something about the virtually 70,000 murders and countless violent crimes that used to massacre the Brazilian population every year. Life, after all, is the most basic human rights. Our military police officers were the preferred target of crime until recently. In 2017 alone, about 400 military police officers were cruelly murdered. However, that is changing now. Measures have been taken. We have succeeded in lowering by more than 20% the number of murders in the first 6 months of my administration. Drug seizures, including cocaine and other drugs, have reached record levels so far. Today, Brazil is a safer country and an even more hospitable. We have just extended visa waiver to countries such as the United States, Japan, Australia, and Canada. And we're currently considering adopting similar measures to China and India, among other countries. With more safety and with these easier, streamlined procedures, we want to ensure that everyone can visit and get to know Brazil, especially the Brazilian Amazonian region, in all of its vastness and natural beauty. The Amazon is not being devastated, nor is it being consumed by fire, as the media misleadingly says. Each of you, ladies and gentlemen, can bear witness to what I'm saying now. You can do so on a first-hand basis. Make sure you do visit Brazil and get to know Brazil. It is a very different country vis-a-vis the country that has been portrayed in many newspapers and television channels. Religious persecution is a scourge we should all tirelessly fight. In the past few years, we have witnessed in different regions of the world cowardly attacks that have victimized followers and faithful gathering in churches, synagogues, and mosques. Brazil strongly condemns all of these acts and remains ready to collaborate together with other countries to protect those who are oppressed because of their faith. the Brazilian people is particularly concerned about the increasing persecution, discrimination, and violence against missionaries and religious minorities, as has been seen in different geographies of the world. We therefore support establishing the International Day in memory of victims of acts of violence as a result of creed, religion-related values. On that date, we will yearly celebrate those who suffer the harmful consequences of religious persecution. It is not acceptable at all that in the 21st century, with so many tools, instruments, treaties, organizations aimed at ultimately enshrining all types of rights, it is not acceptable that today we see millions of Christians and people of other religions who have ultimately lost their lives or freedom because of their faith. Evidence of Brazil's devotion to the peace cause is found in the solid history of Brazil's contributions to United Nations missions. For 70 years now, Brazil has given actual effective contributions to the United Nations peacekeeping operations. And we support all ongoing efforts to ensure that these missions become more effective and ultimately bring about real, concrete benefits to the countries receiving them. Under extremely diverse situations in countries such as Haiti, Lebanon, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Brazilian troops have been recognized for the high quality of their work and for their respect towards the population, respect for human rights, and the guiding principles in peacekeeping operations. May I again reaffirm our willingness to uphold our concrete contributions to the United Nations missions, including in areas such as skills development and professional training of troops, an area which Brazil is widely recognized for experience. The course of this year, 2019, we have established a broad-ranging international agenda with a view to restoring Brazil's role in the world scene and resuming relations with important partners. Last January, we were in Davos for the World Economic Forum, where we presented our ambitious reforms program to the investors community from all over the world. In March, we visited Washington, D.C., where we launched a comprehensive and bold partnership with the U.S. government, the government of the United States in all areas, with an emphasis on political coordination and economic and military cooperation. Political coordination and economic and military cooperation. Still, in the month of March, we went to Chile, where the Pro-South Initiative was launched, an important step to ensure South America will consolidate itself as a region of democracy and freedom. After that, we visited Israel, where we identified countless opportunities for cooperation, particularly in the field of technology and security. I thank Israel for the support received to fight recent disasters in my country. We also visited one of our major partners in the South American Southern Cone, Argentina. Together with Argentine President Mauricio Macri and our partners from Uruguay and Paraguay, we have done away with ideology in the Mercosur bloc countries, and we have achieved important trade gains by successfully completing negotiations that had been dragging on for decades. Before the end of the year, we will be visiting important Asian partners, not only in the Far East, but also in the Middle East. These visits will further strengthen the friendship ties and deepen our relations with Japan, China, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. We do intend to follow the same pathway and approach towards all of the Arab world and Asia. We are also keenly looking forward to visiting our partners in Africa, partners and friends in Africa, Oceania, and Europe. As you can see, Brazil is a country that is open to the world and seeking partnerships with all of those who are interested in working for prosperity, for peace, and for freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, the Brazil I represent here is a country that is lifting itself up again, reinvigorating partnerships and regaining its political and economic confidence. We are ready and poised to take on the responsibilities that are incumbent upon us in the international system. Over the past few decades, without realizing, we allowed ourselves to be seduced by ideological thought systems that did not seek truth, but rather absolute power. Ideology made its way into and has set in fields such as education, media, culture, and has become a dominant force in means of communication, universities, and schools. Ideology has invaded our homes and has engaged in an offensive against the mother cell, the seminal cell in any healthy society, i.e., the family itself. They even try to destroy the innocence of our children by going as far as perverting their most basic and elementary identity, i.e., biology itself. The politically correct has become a prevalent constant in public debate to expel rationality and replace it with manipulation, repeated commonplaces, and buzzwords. Ideology has invaded the human soul itself to expel God from it and the dignity with which he has endowed us. And with these methods, this ideology has always left behind it a trail of death, ignorance, and stark poverty wherever it passed through. I am myself living evidence of that. I was cowardly stabbed by a left-wing activist. I only survived because of a miracle operated by God. Once again, I thank God for my life. The United Nations organization can help overcome the current materialistic and ideological atmosphere that undermines some basic principles of human dignity. This organization was, after all, designed and established to promote peace among sovereign nations and social progress, with liberty in accordance with the preamble of the United Nations Charter. On matters such as climate, democracy, human rights, equality of rights and duties between men and women, and on so many other issues, all we need is precisely this: envisage and aim at the truth in line with the Gospel of John 8:32, which reads as follows: "And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." All of our national and international instruments should be ultimately geared towards achieving that objective. We are not here to erase nationalities and sovereignties in the name of abstract global interest. This is not the Global Interest Organization. This is the United Nations Organization, and it must remain as such. With a sense of humbleness and trust in the liberating power of truth, you can be sure that you will certainly be able to count on this new Brazil that I am presenting to you, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you all for the grace and the glory of God. Thank you very much.
好，我们刚刚听到的呢是巴西的总统波索纳罗的讲话。他在这个内容当中呢，讲到跟我们今天刚稍早说的这些大的主题都是差不多。其中气候暖化呢，由于现在大家最关注的亚马逊也是在巴西，所以他在这其中也做了一些琢磨。但他表示，目前的情况呢，并不像媒体上面的报道。其实这个报道当中呢，有很多的内容是不实的。他认为亚马逊没有到现在大家认为的是一个这么危急的一个地步。我们现在看到的呢是奈及利亚的班迪，也就是这一次的轮值主席，跟巴西的总统波索奈罗他们之间进行了一个这个握手的仪式。那接下来呢，第二顺位的要说话的呢就是美国的总统川普了。我们现在来看一下班迪他会接下来要说什么。
Assembly will hear an address by His Excellency Donald Trump, President of the United States of America. I request protocol to escort His Excellency.
好，所以我们接下来看到的呢，就是川普总统了。今天在第74届联合国大会的元首开幕讲话，他是排第二顺位。
On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honor to welcome to the United Nations His Excellency Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, and to invite him to address the Assembly.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General, distinguished delegates, ambassadors, and world leaders, 7 decades of history have passed through this hall in all of their richness and drama. Where I stand, the world has heard from presidents and premiers at the height of the Cold War. We have seen the foundation of nations. We have seen the ringleaders of revolution. We have beheld saints who inspired us with hope, rebels who stirred us with passion, and heroes who emboldened us with courage, all here to share plans, proposals, visions, and ideas on the world's biggest stage. Like those who met us before, our time is one of great contest, high stakes, and clear choices. The essential divide runs all around the world and throughout history is once again thrown into stark relief. It is the divide between those whose thirst for control deludes them into thinking they are destined to rule over others, and those people and nations who want only to rule themselves. I have the immense privilege of addressing you today as the elected leader of a nation that prizes liberty, independence, and self-government above all. The United States, after having spent over $2.5 trillion since my election to completely rebuild our great military, is also by far the world's most powerful nation. Hopefully, it will never have to use this power. Americans know that in a world where others seek conquest and domination, our nation must be strong in wealth, in might, and in spirit. That is why the United States vigorously defends traditions and customs that have made us who we are. Like my beloved country, each nation represented in this hall has a cherished history, culture, and heritage that is worth defending and celebrating, and which gives us our singular potential and strength. The free world must embrace its national foundation. It must not attempt to erase them or replace them. Looking around and all over this large, magnificent planet, the truth is plain to see. If you want freedom, take pride in your country. If you want democracy, hold on to your sovereignty. And if you want peace, love your nation. Wise leaders always put the good of their own people and their own country first. The future does not belong to globalists. The future belongs to patriots. The future belongs to sovereign and independent nations who protect their citizens, respect their neighbors, and honor the differences that make each country special and unique. It is why we in the United States embark on an exciting program of national renewal. In everything we do, we are focused on empowering the dreams and aspirations of our citizens. Thanks to our pro-growth economic policies, our domestic unemployment rate reached its lowest level in over half a century. Fueled by massive tax cuts and regulations, jobs are being produced at a historic rate. 6 million Americans have been added to the employment rolls in under 3 years. Last month, African American, Hispanic American, and Asian American unemployment reached their lowest rates ever recorded. We are marshaling our nation's vast energy abundance, and the United States is now the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world. Wages are rising, incomes are soaring, and 2.5 million Americans have been lifted out of poverty in less than 3 years. As we rebuild the unrivaled might of the American military, we are also revitalizing our alliances by making it very clear that all of our partners are expected to pay their fair share of the tremendous defense burden which the United States has borne in the past. At the center of our vision for national renewal is an ambitious campaign to reform international trade. For decades, the international trading system has been easily exploited by nations acting in very bad faith. As jobs were outsourced, a small handful grew wealthy at the expense of the middle class. In America, the result was 4.2 million lost manufacturing jobs and $15 trillion in trade deficits over the last quarter century. The United States is now taking that decisive action to end this grave economic injustice. Our goal is simple. We want balanced trade that is both fair and reciprocal. We have worked closely with our partners in Mexico and Canada to replace NAFTA with the brand new and hopefully bipartisan U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. Tomorrow, I will join Prime Minister Abe of Japan to continue our progress in finalizing a terrific new trade deal. As the United Kingdom makes preparations to exit the European Union, I have made clear that we stand ready to complete an exceptional new trade agreement with the UK that will bring tremendous benefits to both of our countries. We are working closely with Prime Minister Boris Johnson on a magnificent new trade deal. The most important difference in America's new approach on trade concerns our relationship with China. In 2001, China was admitted to the World Trade Organization. Our leaders then argued that this decision would compel China to liberalize its economy and strengthen protections to provide things that were unacceptable to us and for private property and for the rule of law. 2 decades later, this theory has been tested and proven completely wrong. Not only has China declined to adopt promised reforms, it has embraced an economic model dependent on massive market barriers, heavy state subsidies, currency manipulation, product dumping, forced technology transfer, and the theft of intellectual property, and also trade secrets on a grand scale. As just one example, I recently met the CEO of a terrific American company, Micron Technology, at the White House. Micron produces memory chips used in countless electronics. To advance the Chinese government's 5-year economic plan, a company owned by the Chinese state allegedly stole Micron's designs, valued at up to $8.7 billion. Soon, the Chinese company obtains patents for nearly an identical product,
and Micron was banned from selling its own goods in China. But we are seeking justice. The United States lost 60,000 factories after China entered the WTO. This is happening to other countries all over the globe. The World Trade Organization needs drastic change. The second largest economy in the world should not be permitted to declare itself a developing country in order to game the system at others' expense. For years, these abuses were tolerated, ignored, or even encouraged. Globalism exerted a religious pull over past leaders, causing them to ignore their own national interests. But as far as America is concerned, those days are over. To confront these unfair practices, I placed massive tariffs on more than $500 billion worth of Chinese-made goods. Already, as a result of these tariffs, supply chains are relocating back to America and to other nations, and billions of dollars are being paid. The American people are absolutely committed to restoring balance to our relationship with China. Hopefully we can reach an agreement that will be beneficial for both countries. But as I have made very clear, I will not accept a bad deal for the Americans. As we endeavor to stabilize our relationship, we're also carefully monitoring the situation in Hong Kong. The world fully expects that the Chinese government will honor its binding treaty made with the British and registered with the United Nations, in which China commits to protect Hong Kong's freedom, legal system, and democratic ways of life. How China chooses to handle the situation will say a great deal about its role in the world in the future. We are all counting on President Xi as a great leader. The United States does not seek conflict with any other nation. We desire peace, cooperation, and mutual gain with all. I will never fail to defend America's interests. One of the greatest security threats facing peace-loving nations today is the repressive regime in Iran. The regime's record of death and destruction is well known to us all. Not only is Iran the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism, Iran's leaders are fueling the tragic wars in both Syria and Yemen. At the same time, the regime is squandering the nation's wealth and future in a fanatical quest for nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them. We must never allow this to happen. To stop Iran's path to nuclear weapons and missiles, I withdrew the United States from the terrible Iran nuclear deal, which has very little time remaining, did not allow inspection of important sites, and did not cover ballistic missiles. Following our withdrawal, we have implemented severe economic sanctions on the country. Hoping to free itself from sanctions, the regime has escalated its violent and unprovoked aggression. In response to Iran's recent attack on Saudi Arabian oil facilities, we just imposed the highest level of sanctions on Iran's central bank and sovereign wealth. All nations have a duty to act. No responsible government should subsidize Iran's bloodlust. As long as Iran's menacing behavior continues, sanctions will not be lifted. They will be tight. Iran's leaders will have turned a proud nation into just another cautionary tale of what happens when a ruling class abandons its people and embarks on a crusade for personal power and riches. For 40 years, the world has listened to Iran's rulers as they lash out at everyone else for the problems they alone have created. They conduct ritual chants of death to America and traffic in monstrous anti-Semitism. Last year, the country's supreme leader stated Israel is a malignant, cancerous tumor that has to be removed and eradicated. It is possible, and it will happen. America will never tolerate such anti-Semitic hate. Fanatics have long used hatred of Israel to distract from their own failures. Thankfully, there is a growing recognition in the wider Middle East that the countries of the region share common interests in battling extremism and unleashing economic opportunity. That is why it is so important to have full, normalized relations between Israel and its neighbors. Only a relationship built on common interests, mutual respect, and religious tolerance can forge a better future. Iran citizens deserve a government that cares about reducing poverty, ending corruption, and increasing jobs, not stealing their money to fund and massacre abroad and at home. After 4 decades of failure, it is time for Iran's leaders to step forward and to stop threatening other countries and focus on building up their own country. It is time for Iran's leaders to finally put the Iranian people first. America is ready to embrace friendship with all who genuinely seek peace and respect. Many of America's closest friends today were once our greatest foes. The United States has never believed in permanent enemies. We want partners, not adversaries. America knows that while anyone can make war, only the most courageous can choose peace. For this same reason, we have pursued bold diplomacy on the Korean Peninsula. I have told Kim Jong-un what I truly believe, that like Iran, his country is full of tremendous untapped potential, but that to realize that promise, North Korea must denuclearize. Around the world, our message is clear. America's goal is lasting. America's goal is harmony. America's goal is not to go with these endless wars, wars that never end. With that goal in mind, my administration is also pursuing the hope of a brighter future in Afghanistan. Unfortunately, the Taliban has chosen to continue their savage attack. We will continue to work with our coalition of Afghan partners to stamp out terrorism, and we will never stop working to make peace a reality. Here in the Western Hemisphere, we are joining with our partners to ensure stability and opportunity all across the region. In that mission, one of our most critical challenges is illegal immigration, which undermines prosperity, rips apart societies, and empowers ruthless criminal cartels. Mass illegal migration is unfair, unsafe, and unsustainable for everyone involved. The sending countries and the depleted countries, and they become depleted very fast, but their youth is not taken care of, and human capital goes to waste. The receiving countries are overburdened with more migrants than they can responsibly accept, and the migrants themselves are exploited, assaulted, and abused by vicious coyotes. Nearly 1/3 of women who make the journey north to our border are sexually assaulted along the way. Yet here in the United States and around the world, there is a growing cottage industry of radical activists and non-governmental organizations that promote human smuggling. These groups encourage illegal migration and demand erasure of national borders. Today I have a message for those open border activists who cloak themselves in the rhetoric of social justice. Your policies are not just. Your policies are cruel and evil. You are empowering criminal organizations that prey on innocent men, women, and children. You put your own false sense of virtue before the lives, well-being, and countless innocent people. When you undermine border security, you are undermining human rights and human dignity. Many of the countries here today are coping with the challenges of uncontrolled migration. Each of you has the absolute right to protect your borders. And so, of course, is our. Today, we must resolve to work together to end human smuggling, end human trafficking, and put these criminal networks out of business for good. To our country, I can tell you sincerely, we are working closely with our friends in the region, including Mexico, Canada, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and Panama, to uphold the integrity of borders and ensure safety and prosperity for our people. I would like to thank President Lopez Obrador of Mexico for the great cooperation we are receiving and for right now putting 27,000 troops on our southern border. Mexico is showing us great respect, and I respect them in return. The U.S., we have taken very unprecedented action to stop the flow of illegal immigration. To anyone conducting crossings of our border illegally, please hear these words. Do not pay the smugglers. Do not pay the coyotes. Do not put yourself in danger. Do not put your children in danger, because if you make it here, you will not be allowed in. You will be promptly returned home. You will not be released into our country. As long as I am President of the United States, we will enforce our laws and protect our borders. For all of the countries, the Western Hemisphere, our goal is to help people invest in the bright futures of their own nation. Our region is full of such incredible promise, dreams waiting to be built, and national destinies for all. They are waiting also to be pursued. Throughout the hemisphere, there are millions of hardworking, patriotic young people eager to build, innovate, and achieve. But these nations cannot reach their potential if a generation of youth abandon their homes in search of a life elsewhere. We want every nation in our region to flourish and its people to thrive in freedom and peace. In that mission, we are also committed to supporting those people in the Western Hemisphere who live under brutal oppression, such as those in Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. According to a recent report from the UN Human Rights Council, women in Venezuela stand in line for 10 hours a day waiting for food. Over 15,000 people have been detained as political prisoners. Modern-day death squads are carrying out thousands of extrajudicial killings. The dictator Maduro is a Cuban puppet protected by Cuban bodyguards, hiding from his own people, while Cuba plunders Venezuela's oil wealth to sustain its own corrupt communist rule. Since I last spoke in this hall, the United States, our partners, have built a historic coalition of 55 countries that recognize the legitimate government of Venezuela. To the Venezuelans trapped in this nightmare, please know that all of America is united behind you. The United States has vast quantities of humanitarian aid ready and waiting to be delivered. We're watching the Venezuela situation very closely. We await the day when democracy will be restored, when Venezuela will be free, and when liberty will prevail throughout this hemisphere. One of the most serious challenges countries face is the specter of socialism. It's the wrecker of nations and destroyer of society. Events in Venezuela remind us all that socialism and communism are not about justice. They are not about equality. They are not about lifting up the poor. And they are certainly not about good of the nation. Socialism and communism are about one thing only: power of the ruling class. Today I repeat a message to the world that I have delivered at home. America will never be a socialist country. In the last century, socialism and communism killed 100 million people. Sadly, as we see in Venezuela, that toll continues in this country. These totalitarian ideologies, combined with modern technology, have the power to excise new and disturbing forms of suppression and domination. For this reason, the United States is taking steps to better screen foreign technology and investments and to protect our data and our security. We urge every nation present to do the same. Freedom and democracy must be constantly guarded and protected, both abroad and from within. We must always be skeptical of those who want conformity and control. Even in free nations, we see alarming signs and new challenges to liberty. A small number of social media platforms are acquiring immense power over what we can see and over what we are allowed to say. A permanent political class is openly disdainful, dismissive, and defiant of the will of the people. A faceless bureaucracy operates in secret and weakens democratic rule. Media and academic institutions push flat-out assaults on our histories, traditions, and values. In the United States, my administration has made clear to social media companies that we will uphold the right of free speech. A free society cannot allow social media giants to silence the voices of the people, and a free people must never, ever be enlisted in the cause of silencing, coercing, canceling, or blacklisting their own neighbors. As we defend American values, we affirm the right of all people to live in dignity. For this reason, my administration is working with other nations to stop criminalizing homosexuality. And we stand in solidarity with LGBTQ people who live in countries that punish, jail, or execute individuals based upon sexual orientation. we are also championing the role of women in our societies. Nations that empower women are much wealthier, safer, and much more politically stable. It is therefore vital not only to a nation's prosperity, but also is vital to its national security to pursue women's economic development. Guided by these principles, my administration launched the Women's Global Development and Prosperity Initiative. The WGDP is the first ever government-wide approach to women's economic empowerment, working to ensure that women all over the planet have the legal right to own and inherit property, work in the same industries as men, travel freely, and access credit and institutions. Yesterday, I was also pleased to host leaders for a discussion about an ironclad American commitment protecting religious leaders and also protecting religious freedom. This fundamental right is under growing threat around the world. Hard to believe, but 80% of the world's population lives in countries where religious liberty is in significant danger or even completely out. Americans will never fire or tire in our effort to defend and promote freedom of worship and religion. We want and support religious liberty for all. Americans will also never tire of defending innocent life. We are aware that many United Nations projects have attempted to assert a global right to taxpayer-funded abortion on demand, right up until the moment of delivery. Global bureaucrats have absolutely no business attacking the sovereignty of nations that wish to protect innocent life. Like many nations here today, we in America believe that every child, born and unborn, is a sacred gift from God. There is no circumstance under which the United States will allow international entities to trample on the rights of our citizens, including the right to self-defense. That is why this year I announced that we will never ratify the UN Arms Trade Treaty, which would threaten the liberties of law-abiding American citizens. The United States will always uphold our constitutional right to keep and bear arms. We will always uphold our Second Amendment. Core rights and values America defends today were inscribed in America's founding documents. Our nation's founders understood that there will always be those who believe they are entitled to wield power and control over others. Tyranny advances under many names and many theories, but it always comes down to the desire for domination. It protects not the interests of many, but the privilege of few. Our founders gave us a system designed to restrain this dangerous impulse. They chose to entrust American power to those most invested in the fate of our nation, a proud and fiercely independent. The true good of a nation can only be pursued by those who love it, by citizens who are rooted in its history, who are nourished by its culture, committed to its values, attached to its people, and who know that its future is theirs to build or theirs to lose. Patriots see a nation and its destiny in ways no one else can. Liberty is only preserved, sovereignty is only secured, democracy is only sustained, greatness is only realized by the will and devotion. In their spirit is found the strength to resist oppression the inspiration to forge legacy, the goodwill to seek friendship, and the bravery to reach for peace. Love of our nations makes the world better for all nations. So to all the leaders here today, join us in the most fulfilling mission a person could have, the most profound contribution anyone can make. Lift up your nations, cherish your culture, honor your histories, treasure your citizens, make your countries strong and prosperous and righteous, honor the dignity of your people, and nothing will be outside of your reach. When our nations are greater, the future will be brighter, people will be happier, and our partnerships will be stronger. With God's help, together we will cast off the enemies of liberty and overcome the oppressors of dignity. We will set new standards of living and reach new heights of human achievement. We will rediscover old truths, unravel old mysteries, and make thrilling new breakthroughs.
好，我们现在看到这个画面上呢，似乎讯号是有一些断
We will
线。
find more beautiful
好，
friendship,
现在讯号
more
又回来
harmony
了。
among nations than ever before. My fellow leaders, the path to peace and progress and freedom and justice and a better world, all humanity, begins at home. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the nations of the world. And God bless America. Thank you very much.
好，我们刚刚听到的呢，就是这一次的这个联合国大会74届的元首开幕讲话，第2顺位的川普，美国总统川普，他的讲话可能也是今天大家最关注的讲话。那我们现在来整理一下，他刚刚将近是差不多这个20多分钟的讲话，它主要的内容呢，这个要点呢，第一个他就讲到了美国的经贸。再来呢，讲到中国的这个贸易谈判，以及中国的 WTO 的情况，还有呢，对于香港目前的情况，他也表示呢，会十分紧密的关注。毕竟呢，香港的情况对于接下来中国如何处理，以及中国在世界舞台上的角色，会扮演的十分重要的一个影响的因素。再来呢，就讲到了伊朗了。伊朗在前几个礼拜他认为。沙烏地阿拉伯的这个石油库的爆炸呢，其实就是伊朗所为的，所以他在这当中也做一些琢磨。再来就讲到了美国的这个非法移民，他再次的强烈的表示，非法移民呢是美国不会容许的。再来就讲到了委内瑞拉，表示委内瑞拉现在的政权呢是不被 UN 的联合国其他的这个代表国所认可的。并且表示，委内瑞拉的民众向他们喊话，认为呢，这个接下来希望他们还是可以有个民主的未来，而这当中美国也会成为他们最强大的后盾。再来就讲到了，宗教的自由，他说到美国对于宗教自由呢是十分关注的，但是大家原本预期他可能会在这当中针对新疆或是其他。在这个环境当中有宗教迫害情况的地区再多做琢磨，但他只是很简单的一个句子就把它讲完了。他也讲到了从宗教自由，就讲到说除了我们是要来保护宗教自由之外呢，我们也要保护无辜的性命，就讲到美国对于堕胎的这个议题上面是非常坚定的立场。他也讲到了枪支的管制，讲到美国的这个 Second Amendment 宪法里面呢是有明文写到持有枪支是每个美国民众都可以拥有的权利，因此呢他会十分坚定的继续的执行这个美国开国以来的这个宪法条规。最后呢就讲到了希望所有国家的这个领导人在自由和和平人权上面大家要一起努力。带大家其实这次十分关注的就是川普他对于气候变迁是不是会做出一些表态。我们都知道他缺席了气候变迁的大会，在今天的这个演说当中呢，开幕的这个讲话当中呢，他是只字未提关于气候变迁的内容。好，那我们现在就来 比较仔细的讲一下他刚才说的内容。他一开始呢就说到了，在这个联合国今天是第74届的大会展开，在过去的70个年头当中哦，是有非常多的有不同意见的各国领袖在这个全世界最大的舞台上面表示自己的意见，并且进行交流。而今天在座的呢，我们可以看到，除了副总统 Pence 这个 Pompeo 之外呢，他的女儿 Ivanka Trump 也在场聆听他的讲话。所以他就讲到说了，这个国家呢，他重申了美国是一个之所以现在是可以成为这么一个独立强大的国家呢，是因为有自己的自主权。而在美国在军事方面呢，在过去的这几年呢，也花了这个35亿元的军事的费用，来把自己打造成一个在军事上是一个最强大的国家之一。但他希望在这次的联合国会议上面，要跟各位元首强调，希望永远都不要用到这一些军事的装备。他说了，这个自由的国家呢，其中民主如果要民主的话，你一定要有自己的主权；如果要和平的话，你一定要爱你自己的国家。他认为，未来呢的这个未来其实掌握的不是在这个全球化，他用的字是 globalist。他认为大家如果希望未来是美好的话，一定要爱自己的国家。所以他再次强调，这个民族主义其实是很重要的。再说到这个美国呢，他认为美国现在是十分有史以来最把心力放在人民身上的一个时期。他就说到了美国现在国内的这个就业率是历史上创新高，说到在过去3年之间呢，600万的人都进入了这个就业市场，而其中呢这些所谓的 minority 这些应该说是少数族裔，像是拉丁裔啊、亚裔啊，或是这个非裔的这些美国人，他们的就业率也创了史上的新高。而且在此之外呢，美国人的收入也是史上的新高。他说，在过去的3年当中，也就是说他上任之后的这一段时间呢，大约美国有250万人是终于可以离开了贫穷线。这也是他对他自己在过去的上任之后的政绩，他做了一个简短的回顾。他就说到了这个全球化的贸易。其实呢，他认为他并不认同一个非常全球化的一个贸易的流动线。他认为所有的工作呢，在这样的情况之下，都只会被放到其他的国家。其中呢，这个伤害最大的就是中产阶级了。他说到，在过去的25年当中呢，在这个全球化的情况之下，有240万的工作，还有这个600亿的这个资金呢，都是因为全球化的情况之下被流失了。所以他现在十分的积极，要与其他的邻近的国家来进行一些贸易的谈判，比如说与墨西哥和加拿大的 USMCA 现在还是很积极的谈判当中，跟日本呢现在也很积极的要谈论这个新的贸易谈判，希望跟英国呢，如果英国顺利脱欧之后呢，也会在目前的情势之下和英国有个新的贸易谈判，希望可以弥补在过去这25年来当中失去的工作以及就业市场的资金。他就说到了这个在谈判，就最后就说到了中国。他认为呢，现在跟中国的关系其实是如履薄冰大到不知道要往哪一个方向去。他就说到了，从2001年开始，中国加入了 WTO 之后呢，原本当时的美国的政权呢是认为中国的经济起来之后呢，也可以带动全球的经贸。但是在过去的这20年当中呢，可以看到，其实很多的私人企业他们在进入中国之后，并没有办法以一个法治的框架之下来执行他们的公司。这也就表示了中国在过去的这一段时间之内是不断的挑战 WTO 的底线以及全球贸易的底线。他强调中国是一个汇率的操纵国。他认为，就当然这个汇率操纵国这是他说的，在很多的这个经贸的专家，他们认为其实经贸操纵国有3个非常重要的要点，在这当中 中国是不是真的是一个汇率操纵国呢？其实是非常有待质疑的。他也说到了，在这个跟中国的贸易上的交流上，除了在汇率上面有很大的中国政府的操纵之外呢，还有在这个市场的价值上面，还有智慧产权的偷窃上面，还有这个强制的技术转移上面呢，都让跟中国有做生意的国家、有经贸交流的国家受到了很大的损失。他就说到，在美国呢，其实在中国加入了 WTO 之后呢，大约是有6万个工厂是离开了美国，所以在这个整个中国加入 WTO 之后呢，对美国的这个好处，其实他认为是微乎其微哦。他说到的都是中国加入 WTO 之后对美国经贸的危害。他就说，中国在 WTO 里面是以一个开放中国家来自处，但他认为这是完全不合理的，因为现在中国是全世界第2大的经贸体系，因此在这样的情况之下，对所有 WTO 里面的成员是十分不公平的。所以呢，在跟中国这个贸易战当中呢，他是给了非常多的报复性的关税。他认为这报复性关税成效非常的好，现在有很多的美国公司已经慢慢的回到美国，或者是离开了中国，所以可以说是一个非常有用的一个策略。那他也希望呢，跟中国可以在接下来的贸易谈判当中，非常希望可以达到一个协议，但是他再次强调 I will not accept a bad deal， 就是说如果今天这个协议不是对美国是100%的有好处的话呢，他是不会接受的。他在讲到了现在目前香港的情况，他认为现在香港的这个民主法治呢，不能说民主，香港的法治体系呢是受到了很大的挑战，所以他认为要如何保护香港目前的法治体系也是美国的当级要务。他再次强调，现在中国以及习近平主席要怎么样来去处理香港的议题呢？其实对于接下来，他并没有说贸易谈判，但他说对接下来中国在世界的地位上面会造成非常大的影响，而美国也会紧密的来关注这个一连串香港的运动。他认为呢，这个和平跟合作呢是接下来两国需要非常积极努力达成的。他说，在这个跟中国的贸易谈判当中呢，他一定会是以美国的利益为优先。所以这就是中国和香港的部分。接下来他又说到了伊朗，大家都知道在差不多是1个半礼拜、2个礼拜之前呢，伊朗被大家认为是发动了攻击了沙烏地阿拉伯的一个石油库，这也造成了现在跟这个美国跟伊朗的关系呢，原本就已经紧张的情况之下，更是火上加油。他认为伊朗是这个整个世界第1大的恐怖组织的国家的出产国，而这个伊朗呢，除了自己本身有非常多的恐怖主义分子之外呢，也是渗入了到邻近的也门和叙利亚。而这当中呢，他认为这个对于伊朗呢，他接下来希望会给予更严峻的经贸上的制裁，来让伊朗知道所有的这个活动，所有的举动都是会有它的后果的，包括这个攻击沙烏地阿拉伯的石油库这件事情。虽然这件事情呢，到目前是由也门的这个组织出来，等于是认领了这次的恐怖攻击，但是他认为呢，这个其实所有的矛头指向是伊朗。而昨天在亚洲协会呢，这个美国驻伊朗代表他也出来讲话他其实当时的立场是非常的明显，认为现在所有的证据都指向这次的攻击是由伊朗来发布的。所以呢，对于伊朗上面呢，这一次今天川普的立场也是十分的强硬，十分的鲜明。他表示美国并不会容忍任何伊朗方面产出来的恐怖攻击，而且他再次呼吁伊朗的这个领导人要开始跟附近的邻近的国家开始大家要当好朋友，要以这个和平还有尊重的前提之下来进行所有的谈判。而且他也呼吁伊朗的领导人要把伊朗的人民的福祉和权益放在第1位，而不是他们的政权的巩固。再来就讲到了 这个对于全世界局势的安危呢，他就讲到了朝鲜半岛，但这当中呢，他只进行了非常简短的一个琢磨。他还说到了阿富汗，希望在这几个区域呢，美国都会表示对于和平的支持。再来就讲到了非法移民，他说呢，这个非法移民呢，其实现在在全世界都是一个非常令人头疼的问题哦。他认为这个非法移民呢，首先是这个非法移民他们本身在跨边境的时候，自己是十分的危险的，再来就是给这些接收难民的这些国家带来非常多的这相关的效应，其中很多是造成这些接收难民国家他们自己国家本身的安全，还有他们的这个局势的不稳定。所以他认为呢，和他举例，他表示说在有1/3的女性的这个难民，他们在整个移民应该说是要跨过边境的过程当中呢，都会遭到性侵害，并且这当中也给这些人口贩子很多的机会，很多的灰色边缘哦，让他们可以在从中获利。所以这些难民们呢，他们自己就变成了这个刀口下的这个非常非常容易被取得利益的这个羔羊。他说他有一个讯息要给这些，就是他说的 open border activists， 就是这个主张希望可以要把这个边境把它开放，让它更开放的这些运动人士。他说你们的这些价值呢，好像是十分的高尚，但是其实都是建立在这些难民接收国的人权以及国家安全之上。也就是说呢，如果说今天美国要保持一个敞开边境的情况的话呢，那美国的国安以及这个难民的人权呢，其实在这当中都是受到很大的迫害的。因此他再次强调他是完全不支持 open border， 他完全不支持开放的一个边境的一个主张，一个未来，并且他说呢，这个人口贩卖和走私呢，在现在的这个难民潮当中呢，其实是一个十分严重的问题。因此他现在跟美国最大的这个等于是难民的来源国呢，就是墨西哥。他现在跟墨西哥还有其他的南美的国家呢的领导人都是紧密的合作，希望可以来把这个现在越演越烈的难民的这个问题来好好的解决。他就再次强调，他也有一个讯息给这些想要来美国的非法移民、非法的这个难民哦。他说，如果你们来到这边的话呢，你也不会被我们接纳的。他说 If you make it here, you will not be allowed in， 是十分强硬的这个言辞。他说我们将会尽我们所能来保护我们的边界。再来呢，他又说到了委内瑞拉，他说现在委内瑞拉的情况其实十分的危急，现在有15000个这个政治犯在监狱当中，而且呢，这个目前的民生条件是十分的差哦。这个根据数据呢，每天如果你是一个女性，如果你希望可以领到救济的食物的话，都要在这个室外要排了好几个小时的队才可以领到支援的食物。因此他就是要表示说，现在在这个 Nicolas Maduro 马杜罗的这个领导之下呢，其实委内瑞拉的民众他们过的生活是在水深火热之中的。所以他再次呼吁 Maduro不要把自己的人民放在第一位，不要只是为了要巩固自己的政权，并且说呢，所有的联合国的这些国家还有美国呢，都是会站在委内瑞拉的人民的权益之后，也就表示他是支持委内瑞拉拥有真正的民主，在必要的时候呢，他也会给予支援。再来就说到了这个社会主义还有共产主义，他说这两个主义呢，其实在他看来呢，都是十分差劲，对人民是只有坏处没有好处的两个主义哦。其中呢，受到最大的压榨的呢，就是这个国家当中的中流砥柱，就是这些中产阶级的人民呢，他们是在这两个主义底下呢，是会受害最多的。他并说呢，强调美国永远都不会成为一个社会主义的国家。 强调美国永远都会是在只要他领导的这个之下呢，美国永远都不会成为社会主义的国家。他并说到了民主呢是需要被完善保护的，在目前的这个政治情势之下呢，他认为除了有些自称是民主的国家，他们可能其实实际上执行的并没有是完全的民主。他也呼吁各国的领袖要来一起注意这个现象。他并说到了现在在很多的社群网站上面一些平台上面有一些言论上自由的讨论。他说美国以一个自由民主的国家的话呢，是完全支持社群媒体上面的所有任何的发言，他认为这是应该被受到支持的。他就说到了这个美国呢对于 LGBTQ 呢就是这个同性恋啊或者是transgender 啊这个族群他是完全支持的。他说美国也在过去呢成立了 WUGDP， 这是第一个由政府来提供资源的女性的一个等于女性的经贸的一个基金会，就是要提供给这个弱势族群，尤其是这个同性恋族群啊，或者是这个变性的族群啊，这些大家现在认为是比较弱势的这个族群，给他们适当的援助，还有适当的关怀。他再来就说到了，除了对于这些这个比较弱势的族群给予很大的关注之外呢，对于目前在全世界的宗教上面的迫害呢，美国也是十分注意的。他就举了一个数据，他说80%有信仰的这个有宗教信仰的人士呢，他们其实在自己的国家当中都是不被允许要来实行他们的那个宗教信仰的。他认为呢，在美国宗教自由是一个在大家都应该要拥有，就像是这个自由民主一样，都应该要拥有的一个权益。因此如果有任何的国家和地区呢有宗教迫害的情况，美国也一定会适时的介入。他就说，但是这个大家原本是预期说他在这方面会对新疆的议题来做一些延伸，但他并没有说到新疆。再来就说到了对于除了这个要捍卫宗教自由之外呢，他也表示美国一定是要捍卫无辜的生命。就是说呢美国现在吵得沸沸扬扬的这个堕胎法案，他认为美国是要保护这些没有办法发生的无辜的性命。因此呢，接下来他希望全世界其他的国家不要想要干预美国的内政美国对于保护无辜的生命这个立场是不会改变的。再来就讲到了最后是对于现在美国枪支上面的管制。大家都知道，在这个过去的几个月有发生了很多个商场还有这公共场合的枪击案，也让大家谈论起了美国的枪支的管制是不是时候要进行一些改善。因为我们知道像是 Walmart 这些大商场都已经对于枪支的这个处理上面已经做了一些大动作的改变，但是川普他十分的强硬，他表示 Second Amendment 当中呢，所有的美国人就是有权利可以合法的拥有枪支，在他的领导之下呢，这个是美国人的权益，未来不会改变，现在也会继续的进行，这是他对所有美国人的承诺。那最后呢，在结束讲话之前，他表示他呼吁所有的世界的领袖要一起来为这个公平、人权还有自由来一起来奋战。也就是说到了这个大家都非常熟知的句子，就是 God bless America， 要请这个天主来保佑美国，这是他今天的所有的讲话。那我们刚刚在一开始的时候呢，就有说到他对于 climate change 对于气候变迁呢这个非常具有争议的这个议题呢，他是完全只字的不提。因为今天应该说这一次呢第74届联合国大会，其中最主要大家要讨论的就是气候变迁的问题。川普他已经缺席了这个气候变迁的会议，在今天的讲话当中呢，他也是对这个问题是完全没有提及的。好，那接下来呢今天的这个会议当中，我们来给大家做一个比较简单的一个预告除了我们刚刚有听到了巴西的总统以及美国总统川普之外呢， 接下来还有总共加起来今天会有16位领导人出席讲话，包括了埃及、土耳其、奈及利亚、Maldives、Qatar、Switzerland、Croatia、Bolivia、Jordan、南韩，还有法国、智利跟 Bosnia。这些国家都会接下来进行讲话。那川普的讲话，不知道您听了这个内容之中呢，有没有什么是我可能比较没有讲清楚的，或是需要补充的，也欢迎您在节目下方跟我们留言，跟我们互动。我是维仁，谢谢您的观赏，我们下次再见。打开明镜电视，每次都是新世界。节目中言论为个人见解，不代表明镜的观点或立场。YouTube 频道名：明镜火拍。苹果博客名：明镜火拍音频版，网站 www.minjingnews.com， 推特@minjingnews。